Excellent. All right, good to go. We are live. Thank you everybody for joining here. We'll get started shortly. How are you doing, Mike? Thanks for joining, Maureen. Hey, Rachel.
I'm good.
Good.
Thank you. Just finding my background.
Perfect. Fresh, what's going on, man?
Hey.
Excited to see you.
Me too. Always excited to see you.
Ready to have some fun. Excellent. We will just give it here a couple minutes, let Jason join us, and jump right into our 12 pitches that we have for us here today. We'll remind Jason when he gets here as well, but Mike, just for your background here, we got 12 companies. We'll do 4 back-to-back like we do at our 2-day workshop, and then give you and Jason a chance to offer some insight, ask some questions, provide feedback. We do it our 2-day, and then give you and Jason a chance to offer some insight, ask. Oh, Mark, I think you're blasting some YouTube there.
Ready for the gauntlet.
Cool. Just a reminder to our founders, if I hear any background noise or see that you're off mute, I will mute you if you're not one of the people presenting. So when I do call your name to come up, you'll just want to double check and pull yourself off mute. Just make sure we run nice and quiet for the other people that are pitching. Excellent. Hey, Jackie.
Hey, Charlie. Hi, everyone.
It's good to see you.
That's weird. Oh, I hid myself by accident. It's like, have you ever done that? Accidentally hide yourself? It's like, where am I?
Did I leave the meeting? I can still see everybody.
And you just called me out, so I know I'm here. There we go.
Excellent. Those of you listening along with us here on YouTube or here on the channel, this is our second cohort of Founder University. Had 100 people go through cohort 1, around 200 here in cohort 2. And we've got 24 founders that will pitch over 2 sessions. The first 12 will be here in the next few minutes. And then the next 12 will be next Wednesday. Be a 2-minute format. They'll pitch for 2 minutes. We'll work through 4 of the founders, get some feedback from the launch team that's with us here, and then we will keep moving right along to the next set of 4. Should be able to get through all 12 of these in the next hour or so. Keep letting in a few members from the team. Hey, Andre.
How's it going, Charlie?
Good,
Hey,
good. Good to see you. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Hey, Charlie, while we're waiting for Jason, can you want to give me and the rest of the launch team an idea about, what the founders have been studying up until now, how they got to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. Presh, I can't find that view. I will maybe ping Justin on it for. But yeah, so the Founder University 12-week program starts early in the founder's journey. Some joined us before they had an idea. Some joined with the very early stages of an MVP or maybe some of their initial customers. And the program really is geared to walk these founders or sprint these founders through 12 weeks of how do we validate our idea, how do we talk to customers, how do we find those customers, what business model makes sense for the product that we were building. And then towards the end of the program, we get to the point we are here where we start talking about how do we really talk to investors and present our idea. Does it make sense for us to talk to investors? And based on where, just to give some background on how we got to selecting the 12 founders that are here today, is just looking at their business model, looking at some of their early traction, as well as the direction in which they're kind of taking their company. We had, like I said earlier, we had right around 200 founders in the program. A lot of them that aren't here still building great and phenomenal products, and we'll keep in contact, and hopefully we'll be hearing from some of them as well down the road as they keep us updated on their progress. Looks like Jason is joining us here.
Awesome. I need to switch to Ethernet. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Jason, thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
Sorry I was running late. Just
No,
racing around from meeting to meeting.
We know how that goes. Awesome. We just gave a quick rundown here. We've got 12 companies for you here today. We're going to do the format similar to what you're used to in that 2-day Founder University. We'll take 12 of the companies, but we'll break them up into groups of 4. So we'll have 4 companies go back to back, and then hand it off to you and Mike to kind of discuss or provide feedback or ask questions, whatever you guys are wanting to do there.
Fantastic.
Cool. Is there anything before we jump into it that you want to kick off or talk about with the program?
Well, congratulations. You picked a great time to be an entrepreneur and start a company in the start of a global recession and total complete chaos in the market. Well done. You missed the peak by 6 months, which is actually not a bad thing to do. When you're in a recession, if you're a builder, it benefits you. In a hot market, the people who benefit tend to be the storytellers, people who can spin a good yarn, in addition to people who have actual performance in their companies. But people get a little loosey-goosey. They might place a lot of bets on very little traction. So if you actually can build a product and you can actually obtain traction in a hot market, you didn't get as much credit as you deserve. And in a down market, you'll get more credit than you deserve, perhaps. So there is a flight to safety and quality during a down market. So what does safety and quality look like? It looks like 2 or 3 founders who are all developers and designers and product builders, not idea people, but people who can actually build stuff in the world or sell stuff in the world. So actually doers. It benefits people who have customers. And it benefits people who have product velocity, controlled burn, a lower burn, burn multiple, burn to sales kind of situation. So that's the good news. If you're an idea person and you're a solo founder, you're going to be in, it's going to be very difficult for you because people are going to look at it and say, oh, if I give this person $250K to build out their idea, they're just going to ship it to a design firm or a development shop. And they'll be back in 6 months when the development shop says you owe us $150K on top of whatever our estimate was, and the product's not going to move. So keep that all in mind. This is the time for builders. So we try to focus on builders in our programs. And if you don't know how to build stuff, well, become a product manager or a growth hacker. Those two are the easiest things to learn if you are just an idea person. And then you actually have some credibility when you go to an investor and say, hey, we're building this company. Say, well, what do? You say, I'm a product manager. I manage the product. I know how to write stories. I know how to manage the developers and the designers. And I talk to customers. So I'm a PM, I'm a product manager, or a product designer, UX designer. I can make mock-ups. I can test things. So that's actually a real job. Growth manager, sure. Growth hacker. You know how to, run ads on Facebook or do SEO and content marketing to get people to discover your site. That's a legitimate one. So for people who don't want to be a developer or a designer, that's another way to qualify as a builder. And a third way, to a lesser extent, is to be a sales manager. If you actually have a SaaS product where selling is part of it, you could get by with that. So this is the time for the people who actually do work and are builders, not idea people, not people who go to conferences, not people who are witty on social media. This is time for actual builders. So I think that's as much as I can tell you. And it's a great time because there'll be more talent available, and talent, just like you won't have 10 term sheets, the talent won't have 10 offers. So, it sucks that you're going to have to do 4 times as many meetings to get, a third as many term sheets or investors. But what that also means is when you go to try to recruit somebody who's talented, they might actually take a flyer and join your promising little concern. So that's as much as I can tell you about operating in a downturn.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Jason. With that, let's jump right into hearing some pitches. First up here, we have Alex with Phoenix. Alex, you want to go ahead and share your screen? Hello.
If you see me looking to my left, it's because I put you on my big monitor here and I'm taking notes. So when you see me go like that, I'm looking at my camera, but when you see me look like this, I'm looking at your deck on my nice crisp Dell monitor so I can take notes.
Awesome. All right, Alex, I have 2 minutes on the clock for you. We can see you and we can hear you. Ready? Go.
Yep. Hi, so I'm Alex. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Phoenix, the next generation of healthcare that brings all of your health in one app. So let me tell you first the story of Shaya. Shaya is 28 and suffers from a rare disease, like 30 million people in the US. And like them, it took her 8 years to be diagnosed. The reason why is that healthcare has a one-size-fits-all approach that does not take into account all individual information. This is why we're using data and AI for a personalized approach to health, from genomics, medical history, health data, nutrition, and wellness. And to do that, we bring all of your health in one app. You can Google your DNA and visualize your health data, drugs, and disease risk. You can also get personalized information on the drug dosage, toxicity, efficacy, and metabolism that is right for you. You can see your genetic predisposition, risk, and care status for over 24,000 health conditions. And we also brought the capability to get 24/7, 365 unlimited telemedicine consultations right from the app. So this is what we do at Phoenix. So how does it work? Well, you can just upload your DNA if you already have it, or we can do it for you from 23andMe, Ancestry, or another. Connect your Apple Watch, Fitbit, or other devices. Tell us a bit more about your lifestyle, family, medical history, and we analyze your health and provide you recommendations. We have a free plan that includes genetic risk, drug interactions, real-time health data, lifestyle recommendations. And we have health plans starting at $49 per month that includes unlimited telemedicine consultations and much more. We're targeting mainly people who care about their wellness, nutrition, fitness, but also people having medical conditions or family history. And we also enable small businesses to provide health benefits to their employees. I am a serial entrepreneur with 2 successful exits, former partner at KPMG, and I have a great team with me. This is our second venture together. terms of financial, we plan to be profitable by end 2023 with an operating margin of 30%. And today we're about to launch our MVP with the objective to reach 2,000 active users.
Thank you so much, Alex. Great job. If you want to go ahead and stop sharing your screen. Excellent. All right, we're going to move right along here to Kitty and Coco with Andorra. All right, we can see your screen. Can we hear you yet, ladies?
Okay. Hello. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
I'm Kitty, and this is my sister, Coco. We're building Andorra, where users can play mobile games personalized with their memories. Meet Jane, a millennial woman who has saved more than 15,000 photos and videos. Like her peers, between posting on social media and printing, she uses less than 10% of these memories. The remaining 90% collect dust in her cloud.
With Andorra, Jane has a new way to experience her memories. All she has to do is import her photos, choose from popular mobile game types, and start playing. Every game incorporates Jane's memories in a unique, personalized way and is easy for Jane to share with anyone. Research tells us that by routinely revisiting her memories, Jane will experience the benefits of nostalgic reflection, which we will measure and track. Jane will feel more optimistic, enjoy an increased sense of belonging, and gain new perspectives.
We are currently designing and validating our brand and MVP. The business model is a consumer freemium subscription.
Compared to other memory platforms, Andorra will be the first to combine memories, games, and mindfulness, packaged in an elevated and fun brand designed for Jane. Our beachhead market is the 2 million millennial moms who, like Jane, live at the intersection of social media, mobile games, and mindfulness, with plans to expand well beyond that.
In the next 12 months, we plan to launch and onboard 1,000 beta users and use their feedback to drive the direction of our games and features. We aim to reach 100 million in annual revenue with multiplayer games, in-app purchases, and play-to-earn opportunities. I'm Kitty, CEO. I have 10 years of leadership and consulting experience.
And I'm Coco, COO. I have over 5 years of experience as a software product manager. Together, we're building Andorra, mobile games personalized with your memories.
Excellent job there, Kitty and Coco. And we'll keep right along here to our third presenter. We have Hamid with Africa Story. Awesome. Quick to the punch there, Hamid. Can I hear you?
Yeah. I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. We've got 2 minutes on the clock for you. Ready?
Wait.
Oh, not quite.
All right, cool.
All right, ready?
Do it again.
Go.
All right. Hi, I'm Hamid, founder of Africa Story, an on-demand streaming service for authentic African edutainment content. Meet Patrick, a 28-year-old professional living in the US that wants to learn more about his ancestral African origins. His current options are to search libraries, Google, or YouTube for the topics he's interested in this case, the history of jollof rice. The problem is these options are either boring, inaccurate, or limited. Not anymore though, because with Africa Story, Patrick can search for the history of jollof rice and consume authentic, accurate, and well-made content on the subject. We offer a wide variety of African edutainment courses, all with short 5 to 15-minute episodes so Patrick can watch on his commute or in between breaks. Most importantly of all, we make sure to keep the videos entertaining so that Patrick is engaged whilst learning. Our business model is a consumer subscription model at $8 a month. Our competitors include brands like Masterclass, Netflix, and Udemy. However, none of them are catering directly to people that want to learn about African history or culture. Our go-to-market strategy involves building a community of people like Patrick and working with African influencers from all around the world that are passionate about their history and their culture. Currently, we have 20 patrons who are paying us monthly for early access to our YouTube content. We are in talks with 3 UK-based influential African creators with a combined following of over 500,000. We have built a community of 19 and 26,000 on YouTube and Instagram respectively, and we hope to grow and convert this to paying customers. And we have over 300 people on our waiting list for when the platform launches in August. With a subscription fee of $8 a month, we are hoping to reach 10 million ARR by year 5, and by tapping into the B2B market of schools, reach 100 million by year 7. Currently, the team is just me, I'm a YouTube edutainer. I run my own animation studio, and I've learned a lot about the media business through my years working in the tech media space as an analyst. I am lucky enough to have Ms. Patricia Lamore, a global educator, as my advisor and mentor. And that's us. Once again, we are Africa Story, and we provide edutainment that advocates for a better Africa. Thank you.
Awesome. Nice job, Hamid. We'll go one more for this first group. Zaid, going to tell us about fish. We can hear you. We can see it now. Yep. You got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Hi, my name is Zaid Ali, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Fish. Fish is a networking app for entrepreneurs in the first decentralized Silicon Valley. Meet Scott and Mary. Scott is a first-time founder trying to build his network, and Mary is a PM in big tech looking to advise and invest in early-stage startups. Within minutes of joining Fish, Scott was able to find and join 2 founder networks on the platform and was able to invite Mary to view a snapshot of his startup, engage in a conversation, and get a meeting on her calendar. Both Scott and Mary saved hours on discovery, didn't have to switch between LinkedIn, Slack, Twitter, and email to try to get a hold of each other, all because they had Fish. With Fish, you can talk about your startup journey, invite investors to view your startup, and explore the startup community from around the globe. We are a freemium plus advertising business with 2 tiers of subscription, offering a free tier and 2 additional paid tiers with pricing aligned with competitors. We launched our waitlist in March and watched the waitlist grow through word of mouth to nearly 1,000 members from YC, Techstars, Launchhouse, Alumni Ventures, SoftBank, and more. We are 4 weeks away from our beta launch and 3 months away from letting on paying users. Our current waitlisted users who have seen the prototype have been thrilled and can't wait to gain access. The alternative platforms our users are leveraging are either inefficient for network building or aren't built for the startup ecosystem. Our end goal is to condense the networks, talent, capital that made Silicon Valley unique into an app accessible to everyone. We want to serve others like Scott and Mary in this rapidly expanding tech ecosystem, while emphasizing retention with our come for the tools, stay for the network strategy. The next few months will be focused on growing our user base and retention metrics, with the following years focused on expanding into different verticals such as hiring. The market potential is massive, with a $3.1 billion potential in the US alone, based on the number of people in tech and entrepreneurship, multiplied by the percentage of users we expect to be paying using LinkedIn as a baseline. And we expect to reach 100 million in ARR from 850,000 monthly active users. The team includes people who found and exited companies and scaled decacorn social networks, with our head of marketing as number 6 and the first head of social at Snapchat. Thank you for listening. We are Fish, a networking app for the decentralized Silicon Valley, because to quote Molly Wood, you never know where on the horizon a unicorn may lie. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Jason, Mike, there's our first 4. Oh, we can't hear you yet there, Jason.
Only month 30 of the pandemic, and we still don't have to mute. Okay, so we saw 4 great companies: Phoenix X, a health dashboard for, I guess, quantified self and wellness focused consumers; Andorra, which is doing customizable games with your own photos, kind of clever, $5 a month, $60 a year kind of thing; Africa Story, entertainment or edutainment content about Africa, $7.99 a month; and then Fish, a networking tool for tech, looks a little bit like Twitter, not sure what stage it's in. And Mike, did you have a question for one of these companies?
Right, I noted a question for each. Let's start with Phoenix. Can you give me, Alex, give me an example of an outcome that your app produces that utilizes the various inputs beyond which other apps can provide or a doctor could provide? I'm looking to understand the value add.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So the value we add compared to other solutions on the market is that we bring all together. When you go to your physicians, they don't take into account.
Let me give me something specific that you've provided to somebody, a use case that illustrates that value add.
An example.
So I'll take the example of Shaya. It took her 8 years to be diagnosed. With our solution, it would have taken less than 12 months to get diagnosed, because rare diseases, and that's 30 million people in the US, and the average is 8 years to get diagnosed. That could be diagnosed within weeks or months. And you can find plenty, if you type rare diseases, you can find plenty of examples online where the diagnosis takes years in takes of weeks or months.
Great.
Just another example for someone who would ask on Twitter what vitamins and supplements they should take. And Jason, that was your case this week, I think. Instead of getting a general answer, having something specific about what vitamins would be good for you, or what supplements would be good for you based on your DNA and your lifestyle.
And Mike, you have a question for one more?
For Andorra, so the games that you choose, is there any IP or intellectual property that you have to be worried about, or all those games kind of just open market that anybody can utilize?
Coco, would you like to take
Sure.
that one?
So the games that we're going to start out with are just going to be popular mobile game types that we already know people like to play, but that we wouldn't be worried about any kind of IP issues. And then are going to be developing our own kind of custom games that are really going to be new and unique to us.
And what gaming talent are you bringing on board, or do you have between the two of you to create new, totally addictive games?
Well, we're actively strategizing on that front and working currently with a gaming company, really in more of a consulting role throughout this process. And we're getting ready. Our next climb is now actually narrowing down the focus on those games and really determining what is the best path for us gaming wise.
Great.
All right. I don't have any questions. I think all of these are very interesting products. And if we were to pick my number 2 and my number 1, my number 2 would be fish. I have an affinity for tech, obviously, and having a dedicated social network is interesting. Obviously, there's a lot of money in tech. I'm not sure if it's a big or a small business, but that was my number 2, Mike. What would you pick as your number 2?
My number 2 is Phoenix.
Okay,
I thought that, this idea is something that's been tried many times, but I think there's something here in terms of the various inputs and being agnostic to the inputs to produce, better health advice.
My number 1 was Andorra. I got a sense that they understood their target market, the best of all 4 companies, in that millennial women with a bunch of photos. Maybe they're the family archivist, and they, are the ones who send like the photo books or who do the little stories for Christmas, and who they, there's also the person in the family who does the ancestry stuff. Everybody's got a couple of people in their extended family who do that and get value from it. And paying $60 a year, I could see those 3 million people being like, yeah, if I get to pay $60 a year, but I get to create these great games that people play, like the matching game. I could see it being a little bit of a phenomenon, perhaps, if people got addicted to it. I did like the other 2. I think healthcare, very hard for Phoenix X. There's a lot of competition in a lot of different of the spaces, and I'm unsure of the business model in terms of subscription, since I've seen a lot of folks try these kind of things and not be able to get to critical mass. For Africa Story, I think it's an interesting business. I think the pitch would be much better if it was more clear, like, is this actually a course and what is the output of the course? So a history course, that's kind of like edutainment. So this kind of fell between entertainment, edutainment, and then I was hoping like courses that actually could, up level your skill or something. So I think one thing I would think about when you're talking to folks is, are you trying to present this as Netflix, or are you trying to present it as Coursera or Masterclass? Those are really 2 very different things. One's for entertainment, one's for education. I think the education one's more interesting, but I don't know exactly what people because I'm not from Africa and I don't have there's a lot of different countries there. I'm not sure what classes they would want to take, or if that even would work. Classes about Africa, I wonder. But people will pay for and things that they feel will upskill them in some way, make them be able to make more money or make them smarter. So, and history is generally not one of them. History is kind of a soft one, where like you're not actually attaining a skill by knowing history, but you do have a small group of people who will pay for Dan. What's the guy's name who does the Extreme History podcast? I forgot his name. Dan something.
Carlin.
Anyway, what's his name?
Carlin.
Yeah, Dan Carlin on history. Like he's got like a nerd following, could become a couple of $1 million a year business. But obviously things like Masterclass can become $100 million a year business. So just something to think about there. All right, let's do our
My number 1 was
your number 1, sorry.
My number 1 was Andorra as well. I thought the pitch was pretty amazing, and it was a 2-person pitch. It's hard enough to get a 1-person pitch done right, so I was pretty impressed by that. But I do see a game like that having some type of an addictive quality down the road. And potentially being very large. So kudos.
And at this stage, it's a lot of preference, and then maybe whose idea is the most refined at a sort of founder university level. When you get into an accelerator, if you do make it to the next level, then it's going to be about like early traction. What are the first 10 customers, 20 customers saying? Then when you get to the Series A level, you'll be looking at, scaling the business, and can this go from 10, 20 customers to 200? What's the plan to do that? And then Series B is like hyperscale. Like, how does it get to 50 million in revenue? So there's different things you have to prove, and different things work at different points in time. But all of them, I think, have potential. And I think they're all very creative, interesting ideas. None of them were
All the
bad
pitches were very
ideas.
good,
Yeah, very good.
beyond what we'd expect at this level. So
Yeah, for sure.
either you're all really good or Charlie's doing a good job teaching you.
Or we put the best 4 companies first. Who knows? Could be sandbagging us. Let's keep going.
All right, let's move on to the next 4 here. We have Mahalo up next. Can you see your screen? Can we hear you, Mahalo?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. We got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
G'day, I'm Mahalo, and this is Invited, Facebook events without Facebook. And my vision is to host every event in the world. This is how I'm going to do it. This is Invited. You're creating your event. Right now, I'm going to create one for the live pitch to launch team. You can pick your own image or choose a template. Simply choose a start time and date. All the other fields are optional, and you can add in your own description. To finish creating your event, you put in your first name, last name, and phone number, and that's it. Your event's created, and you'll get a text message to confirm that your event's been made. We send out text reminders to everyone, including your guests. One of the big things about Invited is that we're cross-platform. You can invite anyone on any social media network, on Twitter, on iMessage, and even multiple people at once, which is what you're seeing right now. And finally, you can see your upcoming and past events on Invited. These are actual events that we've hosted: a housewarming in San Francisco, drinks in Sydney, and a 21st in the UK. We're all over the world. And we have 4,648 users. We've had 321 events, with 209 of those in the past 30 days alone. This is the number of new users that we've had since the beginning of Founder University. And between the team, we have experience at Google, Atlassian, Apple, and the first engineer at Snapper. Our business model revolves around vertically integrating the entire events process, from data analytics to ticketing to premium host features, including mass text messages. And our annual revenue, we estimate to be $314 million. We want to get to 1 million users by this time next year. And to do that, we're going to build out a mobile app and get 42,000 events on the platform. Compared to our competition, we are cross-platform when it comes to sharing, so you can invite anyone. We're used by under 25-year-olds, and people actually use Invited to host personal events like their birthday. Thank you. You're invited to the future of events.
Awesome job, Mahalo. Time to spare there. Keep moving right along. Lita, are you with us here? There we go. We can. It's coming. Let you go full screen. There we go. Can we hear you?
I hope so.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay,
That sounds
cool.
great. We got 2 minutes on the clock for you. Ready?
Okay.
Go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lida, founder of ArcheoXR. We bring history back to life in VR. With VR, we can reconstruct ancient sites and allow users to experience them as they were in the past. But most attempts made so far have been solo experiences that confine the user to the role of a passive viewer with limited movement options and open no opportunities for interaction with the environment. We can do better. Meet Garrett. He teaches history and also has a YouTube channel about ancient Greece and Rome. He wants to offer his students and members of his YouTube community a group tour of the Acropolis, but high costs and other restrictions make this impossible. By using ArcheoXR's site, Garrett and his tour group can fully explore the entirety of the Acropolis as it was centuries ago without any restrictions. Garrett and his tour group will also be able to interact with various objects and even take part in simple fun activities like throwing a coin into the Fountain of Hadrian. We already have 3 one-to-one scale sites, the Athens Acropolis, the Athens Agora, and Olympia, and plan to add Delphi in the future. All sites are built in Unity and are hosted in Altspace VR, a social VR platform designed for events, which supports all major headsets as well as PC and Mac. This project began with short tours of 3 to 4 people. Now we have free events of 10 to 25 people twice a month and plan to expand this further. We have about 2,700 total visits to our sites, and this number will reach more than 3,000 by midsummer. We have also started a pilot program for paid tours with tickets at €10 per person. Currently, ArcheoXR caters to history educators and enthusiasts, but as the technology around VR evolves, we aim to expand the size, detail, interactivity, and features of our sites. Every year, millions of people visit archaeological sites. ArcheoXR's ultimate goal is to make these sites available to every single person in the world. Join us in this journey. Again, I'm Lida, founder of ArchaeoXR. We bring history back to life in VR.
Excellent job there, Lita. Time to spare as well. Nice job. All right, we'll move right along here. Treb, have you up next?
All right, let's see. Are you seeing the screen?
I'm seeing the screen and we're hearing you. 2 minutes on the clock for you, Treb. Ready?
All right.
Go.
Hi, I'm Treb, co-founder of Topline, where we can save you 400 hours a week managing status. We are still managing status the way we did in Office Space in 1999. Unbelievable. Except now we are in our slippers as we swivel to copy and paste into our TPS reports, with management making choices with week-old data. Meet Sean, who is struggling with his costly and inefficient status management processes. With Topline, there is a better way to manage status. With Topline, you can focus on what's important for your role, track, flag, and action your projects right inside the collaboration tools where you are already working. With Topline, you can inform, enable, and engage all of your stakeholders. Lisa is a busy project manager who needs to keep her team on track while easily informing her manager on progress in real time. Topline makes it easy for Lisa to manage status within Microsoft Teams, where she can add her updates and flag items for executive review. Heather, our VP, wants to understand where she can engage to unblock her projects. On mobile, she always knows the latest. Customers have seen how effective Topline can be and have committed to piloting Topline with a group of 100 employees. Our first beachhead is in healthcare and related industries targeting overworked project managers and executives. Our business model is to use existing relationships to sign enterprise agreements with a generalized product coming next year. We have many indirect competitors and one direct competitor in projectmanager.com. The others are seen as possible integration options. Our go-to-market involves 4 pillars of activity: leverage existing relationships, market with trust, attach to collaboration tools like Slack, Zoom, and Microsoft Teams, and of course, learn from our clients. The roadmap by the end of this year is to sign 10 customer enterprise agreements. The freemium model will launch mid-next year with expansion to other verticals. We're experienced founders in the B2B enterprise software space, and we are Topline, where we can save you 400 hours a week managing status.
Awesome job, Treb. Right on time there. Go ahead and stop sharing your screen so Mark can get ready to go. We'll get one more here with Mark, CNS therapy. Can you hear us, Mark?
Yes.
There you go. I can hear you. Just waiting on the screen. It's coming. Cool. I'm going to go full screen on it, and I'll put 2 minutes on the clock for you. All right. You have 2 minutes here, Mark. Ready? Go.
Hi, I'm Mark Matisse. I'm a chronic pain research scientist. The company CNS Therapy, we eliminate pain without drugs. We deal with migraine, fibromyalgia, back pain, arthritic, chronic fatigue patients, and historically billions have been spent in this area and thousands of lives have been lost through addiction and overdose. If you look at Lucy, she's a typical patient. She has widespread pain. She visits her doctors. The doctor runs some tests, doesn't find anything, starts her on steroids, and then she gets given opiates, and then she's given stronger opiates. The opiates work great at first, but they quickly don't work, and it's the path to addiction or something stronger. Our approach is systolic extinction training. It's basically a patented medical device that gives a cardiac gated stimulation in order to increase the autonomic nervous system. And we combine that with behavioral operant therapy, where we go through her lives and deal with the long-term persistent stressors that are likely to cause the pain in the first place. We've run a clinical trial in Germany. 82% of the patients were pain-free at the 12-month follow-up. If you look at the opportunity in the EU, the users of the devices will be psychologists and chiropractors. It's a $400 billion market with 130 million undertreated pain patients. If you look at the unit economics, a device costs us about $500 to build, and we can sell it for about $20,000. The competitive landscape, you have a bunch of high-risk solutions, which are opiates and surgeries and very expensive. We've got 200 patients that we've treated. We've sold one hospital, and we're looking for $500,000 for medical device approvals. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you there, Mark. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing your screen. Turn it over to Jason and Mike here.
All right, great. We saw 4 really interesting companies. Invited, which does really quick mobile events. Our XR doing VR experiences from my hometown of Greece and Taurus. Top Line View, which is a status management tool, and CNS Therapy AG. Mike, which one of these was your second favorite? And then what question do you have for them?
The second favorite was ArcheoXR. And my question was, what is the cost to build out the mapping of a site? And just Carly, I didn't 100% get how you make money.
The cost from it's basically I build them, so it's my work hour.
How many hours does it take you to build out a site?
Okay, most of the time is spent on research. So I would say if you put research and building the whole thing, which right now takes about 2 months.
And how are you charging? And how are you charging for it?
Right now, it's a pilot program for paid tours. It's 10 euros per person.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. This is a really tough one. I know my number 1, but my number 2 is they're essentially all 3 are tied for me because they're all so nascent. So I'll just ask a question to Top Line View. Why would you go after healthcare, which is the most brutal, hardest group of people to work with, who are overworked and hard, when you have startups who really want to do project management, will try any new tool? I'm curious why you would pick the hardest category. I mean, the only harder one would be like education or the music industry, like people who take a long time to adopt new technologies. So take me through your thinking there.
We've been working with healthcare for 7 years now with several different healthcare organizations, both in the US and Canada. Mainly what we're targeting is they're dying a death of PowerPoint decks as to how to communicate status. We're seeing and they have massive programs like $1 billion or more underway. So there's a huge opportunity with people working remote and hybrid to reduce the amount of time that they're spending. We had one group, they had 20 project managers, each were spending on average 6 hours a week developing decks and emails and whatnot. And they also had 3 open headcount for that team because they needed that time back. And I think by automating that, by reducing the amount of time and also making it real time, we give them back that time. They can actually reduce cost, but also make better decisions because they've got better data faster.
Got it. Mike, Mike, and who is your number 1? And do you have a question for them?
The number 1 was Invite, which is, that's normally not a product that I would have voted for, but I just thought the demo was so crisp that the founder really demonstrated great building ability. I talk to me a little bit more, Mahalo, about the business model, though. I heard advertising, that's a little bit of a concern. Maybe I heard that wrong. How do you plan to make money using it?
Yeah, no, it's not advertising. Sorry, it's data analytics. So essentially selling back event data like sources of traffic, demographics back to the event host. So imagine yourself, you're a large event organizer, say a music festival. That data is super valuable because then you can use that to retarget people for your advertising. Then other parts of the business model will be ticketing as part of it to vertically integrate across there. So taking a clip of the ticketing fee and then also premium host features. So this was actually us chatting to our users and them saying, so they would pay $100 to be able to send out 1,000 SMS text messages to re-invite people who had previously attended their event. And also to pay for aesthetics, so to be able to fully customize the event.
Okay.
And you were my number 1 as well. Pretty easy to pick the most, furthest along product, and it was a great demo, and it was a really good-looking product, so I picked it. Selling data isn't. I guess you're kind of selling user data would be the correct way to say this, so that people can retarget them in advertising. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a great business. And so I think most VCs or investors would rather see you just charge for a premium version. Maybe let
Okay.
people do X number, their first 2 or 3 events for free, or events up to 10 people or free.
Yeah.
And over 10, you have to have whatever subscription. And then ticketing, there's obviously,
Yeah.
very simple models for doing that, but very crisp, beautiful app. And I think just being ultra focused on what the users want made you my number one. And so, and again, in a competition, if this is a competition at all, you're not really competing against each other. It's just who's had the most time to work on their product, right?
Yep.
So yeah, really good as well for CNS therapy. Just to give a little bit of feedback, I thought that was pretty interesting, and most venture firms do not work on devices like this and hardware devices. And so you're, going to have to find people very specifically who operate in your space, but I think that. And it did seem like the behavior therapy combined with something people are dealing with, fibromyalgia and pain and chronic pain, any solution there is definitely worthy of pursuing. So congratulations on doing that. For Top Line View, I'm sorry, for Archaeo VR XR.
XR.
Yeah. So I was trying to figure out why not have, the actual video or pictures of the place as the 3D model. I'm curious why build it, as a computer simulation as opposed to, mapping all the pictures on it. So maybe you can answer that question for me. Or is that coming in the 2.0? So it looked photorealistic.
If you want to answer, you can.
It is a 3D model environment, 1-to-1 scale. You can enter with a group of people and explore it fully. I'm not sure, what do you mean?
When I've seen other people do these kind of tours, you kind of see more like of a photographic, more realistic experience. Yeah.
There is an explanation for this.
Yeah.
It has to do with the limits of technology right now. Technically, if I want to, I can create a fully realistic 4K texture version of this. But if you want to bring a group of people in VR, you need to have the technology restricts the level of detail. If you want to have, let's say, 30 or 20 people in one place and not crash people's headsets.
Got it. Okay. Awesome.
Okay. It's the limitation of technology right now. But if I really want to, there's nothing preventing me technically to do this right now. It's if you want to have people there, that's the problem.
Okay. Well done.
Excellent. All right. Our last 4 here. Tom, if you want to go ahead and share your screen, tell us a little bit about In Life.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. We can see your screen. You've got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Hi, I'm Tom. InLife creates, stores, and transmits legal documents that protect your family in a medical emergency. Our aim is to be the Apple Wallet of legal forms. My daughter has epilepsy. We've always made her medical decisions. When she turned 18, we lost that right because of the HIPAA law. For us to continue to help, she needs a healthcare proxy. Let's see InLife in action. Connie learns her daughter's been rushed to the hospital. She calls the hospital. Because of HIPAA, the hospital cannot share any personal or medical information. Connie explains that she has a healthcare proxy and she has to fax the paperwork. Connie opens InLife, selects a document, and faxes it to the hospital. She can now help her daughter. Co-founder and attorney Mark Snitzer has sold more than 20 healthcare proxies this year. We've interviewed over 100 families, many with pre-existing medical conditions. Positioned to be the Apple Wallet of legal forms, our vision is to be a one-stop paperwork vault that creates, stores, transmits legal documents for your entire family. We compete with LegalZoom and similar services. The InLife advantage is that we create, execute, transmit, and facilitate the documents use, and we are much less than using a lawyer. As the Apple Wallet of legal forms, we will continue to add more life events like power of attorney, wills, and more. By starting with the healthcare proxy, we can market to the in-life to parents of over 19 million college kids, and will focus locally and expand nationally. We plan to reach 1 million within 2 years, and to reach 10 to 100 million, we will focus on enterprise sales to companies and colleges. We are an attorney, an entrepreneur, and a marketing professional, and we all have kids in college. Thank you. We'd love to be invited to the next Launch Accelerator. Together, let's revolutionize how legal documents are created, stored, used, and transmitted.
Thank you, Tom.
All right.
Nice job. Go ahead and stop sharing your screen. I'll have Nell go ahead and pull up your screen here.
Hello, hello.
Hello, we can hear you. We can see it. I'm gonna go full screen on it, and I'll start the timer. Good. We can see it full screen. I got 2 minutes on the clock for you. Ready? Go.
Hi, my name is Niall Casanovas. I'm the founder of DropUp, and we make returning as easy as when you order. Meet Alex, a busy wife and mom of 2 kids. She ordered 6 pairs of running shoes to pick up a pair she likes and has decided on a pair. Now, Alex has to find the time to print out all the labels and return the remaining 5 pairs at UPS, USPS, and FedEx. With DropUp, Alex can return anything in under a minute. Alex selects her address, tells us we're picking up a pair of shoes. The size of the item is small. The return company is with UPS. She has a PDF of the shipping label, so she's going to upload that. Then she tells us she wants it picked up tomorrow to work with her schedule, and completes the order. That's all Alex has to do. We take care of the rest. We then pick up the pair of shoes, pack and label it if it needs it, and drop it off at the appropriate carrier. With DropUp, Alex saved over 50 minutes of her day and made her return process so much more convenient. DropUp also reuses delivery packaging. We pick up our users' used packaging and use that packaging to repack items. That helps reduce waste and saves us from using new packaging. 30% of products ordered online are returned. And from a poll we did with 69 people, close to 50% of them will not return something because of the hassle of returning it. DropUp went live April 20th, has 7 paying customers and 7 more on the wait list. After the 3-day free trial, we're going to charge $10 a month for 5 pickups per month. For those $10 a month, we give our users the convenience of returning anything from their home, saving them time in their day, and giving them a worry-free return process. We compete with main competitors, but none are 100% focused on returns or pick up used delivery packaging to repack their items. Our go-to-market is growing organically through word of mouth and paid advertising. We're going to spend 2.5 years capturing the greater Philadelphia area while breaking even at 3,800 users. We're then going to expand to the greater areas of Chicago, Austin, and Denver. I'm a solo founder, building everything myself. I'm a pilot, and I've been a small business owner for the past 5 years. This was DropUp, and we make returning as easy as when you order. Thank you.
Excellent. Nice job, Niall. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Go next to Isabel with the good tip.
All right. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Perfect. I'm sharing my screen now. All right.
All right, there it is. We got 2 minutes on the clock for Isabel. Ready? Go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Isabel Ulfstadter-Nettis. I am the co-founder of The Good Tip, a social app to discover, save, and share recommendations. This is Elsa. She's a busy parent juggling work and family life. She's organizing her 9-year-old son's upcoming birthday party, but has run out of original ideas. Elsa logs into The Good Tip and creates a request to her friends. She needs ideas for places that host birthday parties anywhere in Brussels, just not in her house. While awaiting some inspiring feedback, she does a Boolean tag search for Brussels and birthday party. She sees a couple of interesting results and saves them to her kids' collection. Elsa really likes this tip, suggesting an organic farm. Tending animals, beekeeping, how cool is that? She figures some of her friends might enjoy it too and shares it, and then sends it by iMessage to a friend who's not joined The Good Tip yet. In the past, Elsa would have had to reach out to friends via DMs and various messaging groups for birthday party tips, but this ad hoc process was inconvenient, time-consuming, and disorganized. Like most people we have spoken to, Elsa had mixed experiences with review sites such as Yelp, rarely received useful feedback on Facebook, and was often unsuccessful retrieving valuable results from search engines. Our intention is to incubate The Good Tip among city-centric content creators and the expat community, and to forge partnerships with international institutions to onboard large numbers of new arrivals yearly. As a multinational team, we can deploy local connections as ambassadors in several cities across Europe and North America. We will implement a consumer subscription model starting with a free tier, but then deploy a paid tier at $4.99 per month with additional features. We undertook this project with the conviction that we could build a vibrant and valuable sharing ecosystem. We are working on a gamification paradigm to better vet public creators, as well as developing a revenue sharing model to reward them for their contribution to the concretization of this vision. We launched our MVP early May and now have 28 users. We were able to enlist a guidebook author and writer for The Guardian, as well as a former newspaper editor to create content. Our team has over 2 decades of experience in tech and telcos. We are The Good Tip, a social app to discover, save, and share recommendations.
Awesome job, Isabel. Time to spare there at the end. We'll go to one more and our final presenter of the day here with Todd. Excellent. We can see it. Can we hear you, Todd?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready?
Okay.
Go.
I'm Todd Hanford, founder of UProve, and I've built a platform to help train, hire, and upskill customer success professionals. Sorry. Meet Hannah. Hannah has been a teacher for 5 years, but wants to transition to a career in customer success. Hannah has great transferable skills from teaching, but is undiscovered by employers due to her lack of direct experience. That's where UProve can help. Hannah can select from a wide range of customer success training courses and business case projects, all of which help her improve her skills and prove that she can be successful in a customer success role. Her profile, project, and training achievements are searchable by employers seeking candidates with skills like Hannah's. Hannah can also view posted jobs that match her preferences and apply to those jobs with a single click. An employer, Vandalay Industries, is having a tough time finding great customer success managers. They can find applicants on the UProve platform based on their training certificates and projects and drill into Hannah's profile to get more detail on her customer success qualifications. Vandalay selects Hannah based on her proven skills and training, and at the same time, Hannah was able to break into a new career field. With 2 open job positions per candidate, employers are willing to pay to access talent pools that they can't find through traditional methods. And customer success is one of the fastest growing in-demand professions. UProve is the only platform that provides both training and employment opportunities for customer success professionals. UProve is a marketplace where students pay a monthly fee to access training and job opportunities, and employers pay a placement fee per hire. We've had 75 free student accounts created and recently landed our first paying employer. We've had success connecting with our ideal customers on LinkedIn and using free resources and training content to generate inbound leads. I formerly led customer success team at a large software analytics company and am building the platform myself, having also been a software engineer. Thank you very much for your time.
Excellent job there, Todd. If you want to go ahead and stop sharing
Another
your
4
screen.
great companies. We had The Good Tip, go in order, In Life, which is a medical document management system, Drop Up, which is kind of like Ship 2.0. If you remember Ship, you just give them stuff and your label and they pack it and do all the work for you. $10 a month for 5 pickups, which is $2 a ride. Not sure how that works economically. The Good Tip, as we say in the business, yet another recommendations app. We see a lot of these in our industry. They're kind of become the plan a trip and recommendations app are, like perennial startup pitch apps and first-time founder apps. They do have a lot of challenges associated with them. And then Uprove, a marketplace for customer success professionals. Looking through these, Mike, do you have a question for your number 2, maybe, to keep the train moving here? Do you know your number 2?
Yeah, my number 2 was Drop Up. Was pretty fascinated by this idea because it saves people time, right? But my question was the one that you had in the introduction. Are you sure about your unit economics? And what if I gave you, like I recently had to return a 150-pound vanity on a skid that needed to get repacked up, renovating a bathroom. Talk to me about how you protect yourself against it, or is it just the idea of the volume will protect you?
Yeah, so any oversized item will eventually have an added to your pricing to what you have to return. Right now, it's just general returns, clothing, shoes, smaller items like day-to-day items.
Maybe walk us through what a driver gets paid to pick up the 3 t-shirts I'm returning because I've lost so much weight. I'm now a medium and I accidentally ordered 3 large.
Yes. So each driver is going to get paid $15 an hour. And it's going to be kind of a shift of how many pickups that we can
Got it.
fit in an 8-hour day.
So they'll pick up one thing an hour or something like that, and then package it and bring it to UPS. So
So
they're
it's
getting paid $15 an hour, but you're charging $2 a drive. How does that work?
so it's gonna be a shift of pickup. It's not on demand. So when you schedule a pickup, it's gonna get scheduled for tomorrow, and then the driver has a route lined up. Yeah.
So maybe they could pick up 2 an hour or 3 an hour, you think?
Correct. Yeah, I'm thinking 110 a day.
But okay, that's probably unrealistic, but yeah, you might want to look into that. And then why, how do you make money then?
We're going to make money on the user side. We're relying on the users to not use the 5 pickups a month.
Breakage,
and then
okay.
The gym strategy.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
with partnering up with different carriers to package the item and kind of surpass these stores.
Got it. But so yeah, the feedback I'll give you is like, it doesn't feel like the unit economics are realistic. This is really a premium service. Ship used to claim. Are you aware of Ship, the
Yeah.
company that got funded? So they used to claim at Ship that they would, charge you that $15 for this FedEx or UPS, but then because they brought it to the facility, they would be able to, pay $8 for it, and that's where their margin would come from. But it really is a premium service, something like this. And so I think you need to charge a premium price for it, not like a price that's money losing from the beginning. So that's just my caveat.
Okay.
You were my number 2 as well. My number 1 was Uprove. Any marketplace for Uprove. Any marketplace for a highly in demand position is going to make money, I think, or have a good shot at doing so. Do you collect the money and pay folks and they're like a temporary service, or are you placing folks and getting a fee for that? How does the marketplace fees work?
Yeah, so most of the fees come from placement fees to employers. We've thought about doing some sort of trial where you could have a customer success manager for a few months just to
What is the placement
test them
fee?
out.
Always be
It's 20
specific if you can.
Yeah, it's 25% of first year annual salary.
So just so you know, when you're answering questions for investors, the more specifics you give, the more credible you seem. So the more optimal answer here, Todd, would be we get 25% of their first year salary. They have a 60-day ability to, they have to make it past 60 days for us to get that 20%. Average customer support rep we place is $50,000 a year. So it's $10,000 every time we place somebody. And so it's a highly profitable business. So, just more details, the better.
Okay.
Not superfluous details, but the actual pertinent details. The more, so that'd be my caveat. The more pertinent details you can give in the answer in as short a number of words as possible, which is something Jackie works on at the accelerator incessantly, is how can people answer stuff even better. Same would go for drop up. The more detail you can give, the better. So when you talked about breakage, that was good detail. Mike, did you have a number 1?
Yeah, my number 1 was Uprove as well. This idea that there are 2 job openings out there for every unemployed person, I think is indicative of a skills mismatch in the world. And it seems like you're really addressing that problem. I was curious about 2 things. After customer success, what's the next job that you think you can work with? And 2, have you considered the ISA business model?
Yeah,
I think this is perfect for ISAs.
Yeah, thanks for those questions. So first of all, I think customer success is a great starting point because there's so many transferable skills. So there's a lot of other types of professions that we can go after after customer success: project management, business analysis, data analysis. And so we've already started evaluating those. We have thought about the ISA model. I mean, it's definitely economically feasible. I don't prefer to charge students. It's just something that I've seen a lot of people kind of believe is more toxic, actually. So I'd prefer to stick with mainly charging employers for the placements.
Great, awesome. So if we looked at our number 1s, Mike, we actually had the same 3 number 1s. Our number 2s varied a little bit. But we both liked Andorra, which was doing the games. That was a very unique product in the world. So one thing to notice is that when you have a product that, let's say, people have seen over and over and over again, the good tip comes to mind. People are going to go, okay, I'm going to pass on that one until you prove it to me, because I've seen so many of them before. So just understand that if you think you want to go for recommendations and be the, 2000th founder to try, people might say, you know what, I'll wait and see. Maybe you'll figure something out. Maybe there'll be some why now. It happens on the watch. It happens in VR. It happens with AI. There'll be some why now that makes it really compelling for people, but you may trigger them to just think, okay, I've seen this before. It doesn't work. This is candid on how VCs work. So just keep that in mind. So Andorra, though, is the opposite. It's very unique. Nobody's ever seen it before. I have seen it actually in corporations making games. We have an investment in a company called Zambula, which makes like little flash games or, little casual game or scratch off tickets kind of things. So marketers can send an email to somebody and have their logos in it or something fun like that. So, there is something there. Invited, we both liked. It's a crowded space, of course, but there's always room for a beautiful one and a simpler one. So when you see less friction and things are faster and beautiful in competitions like this, in the funding competition and in the customer competition, you might win more just based on design. So sometimes a beautifully designed app that has functionality that's very similar to other apps that have existed will win. Slack was beautifully designed product. HipChat already existed, and so did IRC, but it was just, much more beautiful and elegant. They also had APIs, but putting that aside, Notion, the MediaWiki and other single, corporate wikis existed, but they had one that was beautifully designed. So keep that in mind. Design really matters to users and can be really good when getting meetings with investors. And then finally, we had UProve. Am I right now, Charlie?
Yep.
UProve, okay. Which, any marketplace, as Mike said, we have a very weird recession going on right now. Like gas is getting expensive, but there's 11 million jobs and unemployment's going down. How can it be a recession if people have too many jobs and everybody's going back to work? It's a very weird time. So, Mike, if you had to pick a 3, 2, 1 of your number ones, or, if you swapped in number 2 because it was better than the other number 1, you can feel free to do that.
3 would be
3, 2, 1.
3 would be Invite.
Okay.
Because although I love the product, it is to some extent a me too, something we've seen before. So you need to try it. 2 would be Andorra. I think they have the better business model, but potentially, to become an addictive game, there's a big investment. And 1 would be UProve. I still struggle with the placement fee business model, but I feel like there's a really big need to get people out of their existing careers into new careers that are in high demand. In my last business, I had this problem finding developers, for example, where I couldn't hire them fast enough. So I think the problem is really acute there.
Yeah. So this is one thing to think about as you're building your startup. How difficult is the problem I'm solving? There were many problems here that maybe weren't super difficult, right? For the customer. And this is, Paul Graham will call it hair on fire. We might say acute. Some people might say vitamin versus painkiller. And so my order was actually the same for largely the same reasons. You have a lot of different ways to do invited. So there's not much new there other than it's well designed and it's probably got a pretty good chance of working. So working on something that really separates it. Andorra, I think it could become a phenomenon. I haven't seen something like it. I don't think it's like a very unique idea, but we'll see in the execution. I think it's casual games, so like really casual games. So I don't know that the benchmark is super high for actually making it addicting. Like Mike said, I think it's more, finding who the customer is and then thinking about why they would share this. I think they would like to share it because they would like to get social credit with their family, and which is why the archivist likes to do it. And so figuring out ways for them to get social credit, like maybe I share this casual game on a web page and I can buy a domain name and make it the Calacanis Family Games, and I can invite people to it and I'll pay a premium for it to, make these fun games with our kids and stuff like that. There's all kinds of fun things to do there. It's competition. You can see everybody on the leaderboard. it's fun, and I think fun does count. And then it's you prove it's just obvious. I like Mike's punch up of, if you're doing training, why not get paid for it? If you're good at making these, I would create a course. Hey, for $10,000, we'll teach you how to be a customer, or $5,000, you can be a customer support rep. If we place you, you get the $5,000 back. So, or you could just say, hey, it's $1,000, like we do here at Founder University, it's $700. If you make it to the end, we give you the money back. Like that kind of model, you could steal that from us. Like, hey, we'll teach you how to be a customer service rep for $700. If you get through the 12 weeks, we'll give you your $700 back if you show up for each one. Like just copy that, just steal it right out. And then maybe half the people do it or half the people don't. But now you've got people who've completed your course. Holy cow, that's inventory for all these people. So that's, I think, why we both like it, is you're solving a really acute problem for folks. But great job, everybody. These are all, for businesses that are all in year 1 or month 3. I'm not sure exactly where everybody is. These are all solid ideas. Try to make sure you're not just, if you're going to spend the time doing a business, make sure you're going to spend 100 hours a week as the founder on an idea that is a small problem. You're going to spend 100 hours a week on a big problem. So look for the biggest problem you could solve, right? And that always will help you, in terms of the success. A lot of businesses will just if you're going down the investment track, it's really easy for investors to say, this is a small business. That's why we're not going to invest. It's just too small. The market's small. It's not an acute problem. It's not a hair on fire problem. It's not a painkiller, and people aren't willing to pay a lot for it. So you want things that people are really have an acute need for. They really have a big problem. So when you talk about events and music festivals, like they really have a big problem dealing with ticketing and getting people into the event. Like getting people through the gates is a big problem for event organizers. So actually having the tool that scans QR codes now and gets people through reception that much quicker, whether it's a corporate event or Coachella, like that's actually the acute problem. How do we get everybody through this door? How do we have one section for VIPs, one not? Oh, when I went to Coachella a decade ago, they had a RFID wristband. Like that was something Coachella really had a big problem with, was people sneaking into the VIP area, and you could just take your badge and then take 2 badges out, go in with 1 badge, ask somebody to borrow their badge, they sit in the bathroom, you get the other person, you give them 2 badges. Like they solved that by clamping a wristband on you that you can't take off, right? So thinking by talking to your customer base about what's the real problem they have and solving that problem. That's some things are entertaining. So, for Andorra, like it's more like the entertainment value of it. And for Africa Story, it might be for the entertainment value. And actually Africa Story is a perfect example. The history stuff might be entertaining, a course on how to operate a business in a specific country based on the laws of that country, or for expats, how to handle their taxes and how to take a job in Kenya, or how to, operate whatever business is unique to that market. That could be something that's more hair on fire, right? So this is when you're triangulating, when you get a lot of no's from VCs or investors, you always ask them why. I'm telling you why, and I'm giving you what I think VCs will say to you, or other seed investors or angels, but a lot of times they don't tell you the truth. So you really want to try to get a specific reason. Like, do you think I'm going after too small of a market? Do you think I'm charging enough money? Do you think this can be a money printing business? Do you think there are too many competitors to this business? Like you can actually put it out there if they say no. Like, what do you think I'm doing wrong here? Like, what do you think the challenge will be for me? And then that makes you super attractive to investors because you're aware of the challenges of your business, and all businesses have challenges. Mike, any other thoughts here?
I think, the thing that we always talk about is business model, right? Ultimately, you can have a great idea, but if the business model isn't one that VCs really like, you won't clear market, right? So you have to really think about the ones that are the most attractive, which right now are B2B SaaS, marketplaces, consumer apps, the things that we're focused on, because they allow for scale, and that's really the issue, right? You want to get an investment from us, move on, but we want you to get an investment at the next level. And the only way that happens is if you can scale, and some business models just don't. Services, I've owned 3 services companies in my life. I can only scale them if I bill people by the hour by hiring more people. It takes a very long time to scale. So your ability to scale in the business model is critical to clearing past us and then getting past VCs.
Correct. Any questions? Anything not clear? Maybe, Charlie, you want to take one or two questions?
Yeah, I'll look here in the chat, or if anyone wants to raise their hand if they've got one.
And by the way, I just wanted to, I used the event software to create an event for all of us. And so I'm just putting the event into the chat. If anybody wants to come, Mike's going to be celebrating his 75th birthday later this month. So I made Mike's 75th birthday party. Congratulations, Mike. He doesn't look a day over 70 to me.
Appreciate it, Jason. Thought.
It's our classic joke. He's only, whatever, 19, 22 years older than me, but he's 9 years older than me. But
I was Jason's first boss, and this is his revenge on me.
It's my revenge. Just keep talking about how old. And the joke is
for 30 years
because you'll always be older. That's what makes the joke great.
Right.
Always
I can't ever win.
Can't win. There's no win situation. So go ahead and RSVP for my event. Let's take a question or two since we're here.
I'm not seeing any come in. Anybody's got
no
a
questions?
I
Whoa,
know.
Everybody's
what a great
intimidated or
opportunity
scared.
here.
Wow. I mean, you could ask a question about your existing business, right? What you think it will need to clear a market, or what I would do if I was CEO of your company.
Hamid, you ready?
Yeah, I mean, the question that I had, Jason kind of already answered it, which was basically I was trying to understand how to make it more, make my pitch appear more attractive to investors. And, you know, I think you cleared it, which was that if we're giving out educational content that allows people to upskill, then they're more willing to pay for that. And I kind of already recognize that as well. So we did have business down the pipeline coming in, but maybe we should just start with that. I don't know.
Yeah. So if you imagined your pitch as, Africa, countries in Africa and the economies of Africa are growing at this pace.
Yeah.
These 3 specific countries are growing at this pace. The 5 most important jobs in these 3 markets are nurses, developers, customer support agents, designers, and this. We are creating a platform that teaches in their native language or with courses where they can get certificates that are, tied to the local regulations, et cetera. And we're going to be the #1 place to educate you to get that skill. And then we have a marketplace to help you find a job. And it costs this amount of money to take the course. And we make this amount of money, boom. So yeah, if you were to think about the pitch, if it's business-based and it helped you get a job, things that help you get a job or help you fill a position, there's a lot of money involved in that transaction, right? There's a lot at stake.
Yeah.
What's at stake? Watching the History Channel, right? Like it's a recreational activity, right? So a lot of times founders want to build something really big like YouTube, but they need to have a target market. And YouTube was like, our target market's going to be people who just want to share a video of their kids. What they didn't realize was that, all these other formats would eventually come out that would become the dominant ones there. And one of them was, in fact, how-tos in education. That became one of their biggest categories. It wasn't even on their mind. And then people made entire businesses out of solving people's problems on YouTube. So yeah, I think getting more focused on something that people would actually pay for and that would make a change in their life. And then if you're trying to boil the ocean, basically trying to do everything at once, trying to do an insurmountable task, that's also scary to VCs. Whereas starting with a niche and saying, hey, we're going after these 3, I said 5 before, but look at who won today. Somebody going after something very specific. There's a need for customer support agents. So what is the need? Go through all the courses, go through all of the things people are trying to learn to get upskilled, and then do it in whatever market in Africa is the one with the most need and with the most money and with the most growth, right? So you can't really surf a beach at low tide, right? You need to have some waves there. You need to have some growth. You need to have a strong location. And so a lot of times founders will build something in a market where there's not a lot of activity. And then it's like, they can't really soar, can they? So great.
Thank you.
We got a couple questions coming in the chat, or we got people with their hand up. I don't know which route you prefer here.
Hands up is good. I like that.
All right. Yeah. Mark, you want to ask a nice tight question here? You're on mute though.
Yes, please. So we really have a wonderful solution to help the pain patients and make them pain free. And I can't sell anything because I need medical device approvals, and I need the money to get medical device approvals.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of university money to test it. It works. We know it works. We know it'll help a lot of people. We know it'll scale, but I still need to get the medical device money. It's about $500,000, and I'm not sure how to approach that.
There are specific investors who go after that. So looking at other medical devices that are in your same zone in terms of cost, in terms of what it takes for them to clear market, and then working backwards for who invested in those companies would be the way to do it.
I would also look at non-dilutive financing. We actually did invest in one medical device company, and they've been very, very efficient at applying for grants and things where they've gotten free non-dilutive financing. There's a company called Contraline. You might want to take a look at that.
Contraline?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Jason, what do you think about hardware as a service for that model?
Hardware as a service is a better model than selling the unit. So if you sold it at $100 a session or $75 a session, you take on the cost of the machine. They don't have to put the money up, or maybe they put up $500 a month, and that gives them the first 10 sessions. And then after that, it's $75 a session after that. I don't know if hospitals are used to that model, but people are starting to do it now, where you just pay a fee. So there's usage and there's a subscription. So if they had a subscription, it would be $1,000 a month for the device for 36 months, and then you replace the device for them. And you basically, they don't have to spend $20K up front. They're just paying $1,000 a month, $500 a month. And if they blow past, 30 different, sessions or 40 sessions, it's like the thing just prints money for them. But they don't have to put the money up front, and you can get equipment financing and stuff like that. But first you got to get the thing past the regulator. So
yeah, investors might like that model.
They might like it more. Yeah. Because then if you pay for the machine, if it's $1,000 a month, in month 20, you've paid for the machine. And then every month after 20, you're getting 100% of the $1,000.
There's a question on you.
It's probably a lot more than that, because 20,000 is the retail price. Maybe your cost is 5,000 for the device. So who knows? Yeah.
There's a question on YouTube, Jason, that I thought was a good one. If you're getting a cold deck from a founder early like this, what are maybe the first 3 slides that you're looking for in that deck?
I would go look at the product, because what I think when you're at this very early stage, you're trying to figure out what's reality here. Like, is there actually a product? And so, the product demo or the mock-up will speak volumes. If it's really good looking, then at least the person's capable of making a good looking demo. What typically happens is at this stage, and you saw it today, the products are ugly. They're like a 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10 in terms of design. So some investors will suspend disbelief and be like, okay, it'll eventually become more beautiful. But if you were to ask me what I would do, I would spend $500, hire a designer, make it go from a 4 to a 6. Then I'd spend $1,000 when I had $1,000 to hire another designer to go from a 6 to a 7.5. And what you'll see is, as the product gets more refined and it looks better, you will clear market faster, or you'll get at least more meetings. So I think having a really great looking product when you're sending things by email really does matter. And most stuff, you guys saw each other's, right? It's all this stuff is super clunky looking. The one that wasn't clunky looking, the event one, got a lot of kudos for it. I would say Andorra was less clunky looking, still a little clunky, but less clunky, got a little bit of attention. Something that's something you're thinking about signaling with those 3 slides. So a good looking product and a really acute problem. So the problem, customer support agents, there's not enough of them. We train them. We get $10,000 every time we place them. We get $1,000 every time we train them. We get $10,000 every time we place them. Like a very clear business model, very clear problem. Some of the other pitches, the problem, in life or Africa story, the problem might not seem as acute. And so, or the person who is doing the recommendations and that kind of stuff. Too many ways to solve that problem for free. Most VCs are going to be like, not a big enough problem, not a hard enough problem, not a big enough problem. Okay, one more question. I got to bounce.
Yeah. Alex, you want to ask a quick question here?
Yeah, just about Phoenix. So the app that gets everything, all your health in one app. So we have today 1,600 people on our waiting list, and we hope we can turn them into users and afterwards into paying users. I was wondering for Phoenix, but in general, what would be a good number for you in terms of traction to consider looking at it deeper?
Mike, you have some thoughts on number of users for when investors start to take projects seriously and move them on to the sort of next phase?
So a few things. We would always ask, are they really customers? Meaning the number of people who are using that are paying. That's so just having people doesn't give you credit. And then two, what's your churn like? And I'm not answering your question directly because I think those two things are more important than the question you asked. We're going to look at, can you grow paying users without churn or with minimal churn, right? But certainly on a consumer product, there's going to be, can you get to 50? Can you get to 100? Can you get to 500? Can you get to 1,000? And each time you hit one of those milestones, you're going to get a lot more credibility. But be very careful about telling investors that you have users that aren't paying, because that's something that will get vetted out. It's something we train all our people here. We just had a training session very quickly. And then the credit, as Jason says, the credibility in the conversation goes down. And you never want the credibility in a conversation to go down, because the rest of that meeting then suffers, right? You want to be totally honest and transparent. But there was a time when, having, a lot of freemium users was, you got credit for it. I think those days ended a while ago. And in this economy, it's even, going to fall further to the wayside.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, that's why I didn't mention it in the pitch for the 1,600 people on the waiting list, because it's just a waiting list. So when the money goes on the bank account, then I will start sharing the numbers. But
basically, we're used to, as investors, getting all kinds of numbers that are not relevant or less relevant as people go to the journey of actually having real customers. So, it's not the end of the world. Hey, you got some people on the wait list. But I think we're all sitting here going, okay, it's a wait list, whatever, and we're just waiting to see those first 10 customers that you acquired, and you earned. So you might have gotten 5 of them because some influencer talked about your product, because you got that influencer through an advertisement. You did an ad test. You got some influencer, they shared it, they got 5 more, whatever. And you could actually explain where they came from. Credibility goes up, up, up. All right, listen, this is great. Thanks everybody for coming to Founder University. And we'll look forward to seeing how you do with your startups.
Great job.
We have something called updates at launch.co, where you can send updates to us as you do your monthly updates. Always a good thing to do. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Thanks,
everybody.
Mike.
Cheers,
Bye.
bye.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Great job.
Great job.
Great job.
Great job,
everyone.
guys.
Bye.
Great job, everyone. Bye.